right, let's talk about content creation again. How do you come up with ideas? Hey there, Enterprisers, what's good? It's Jason Langer here again, and in this video I want to talk to you about how to generate ideas for content creation. That's right, how to generate ideas for content creation, right? And this is always the game, is that right? Content creation is a game. It's a never-ending game of, okay, how do I come up with stuff to put out there? This is the bane of the existence of anyone in content creation, at least one time or another, if we're being honest, especially the longer that you're in the game. It seems that when you're first getting started, it's very easy to come up with stuff, particularly because you're excited. But that only goes so far. At the end of the day, you want to be able to create a consistent flow of content because you know that it pays off in extreme dividends when it's out there, especially as it picks up steam over time. So how then do you come up with constant forms of content, right? You have to be able to come up with a consistent flow of ideas. And sadly, this can be a chore, especially if you're in a rut, right? This is a creative thing as much as anything else. So let me give you 3 simple, but generally speaking, some really powerful ways to come up with content creation. I think between these 3, you should have no problem keeping things going for the time ahead of you. Content creation, let's get to it. Number 1, consumers. Okay, consumers. Now, when I talk about consumers, I'm specifically talking to you about your consumers. In other words, your customer base, your prospect base. What is it that they're putting out there that is revealing some of their pain points? And this is where you want to start. This is a fabulous place to start because it does show you exactly what people are wanting. So going through the social media of a lot of your consumers and your customers, previous customers, this is a fabulous way to come up with content ideas if you just know how to look and to listen, right? Going through those social media is great. And the reason why I'm saying social media is because that is the outlet that a lot of people are just instinctively going to. I know that in my particular sphere, most everyone I know, if they're frustrated about something, they put it on social media, right? That is the instinct of most people. Whether it's a bad experience at the drive-thru, maybe they encountered something rude, or perhaps there is something that is bugging them in their business or professional life. I do see this regularly. You just have to know how to look for it. So taking the time to go through the social media of the people who would be your customers, have been your customers, or are your current customers is a great way to decipher what exactly is bugging them, and then taking that and spinning it to make some good content that ultimately will lead to a pitch and get them to buy something, right? So you do have to take some time with this, but it can be a very, very worth your while investment of time and activity. And so I encourage you to take the time to go through the social media or other platforms that you might have of see what other people are putting out there and just look for it. Now, the issue again with this is that it is time consuming because you have to decipher. You do have to go look through their posts, and you might find some posts that have nothing to do with what's bugging them in life. A lot of their posts are just what they're sharing personally or whatever they're using their social media to pass time for. But you might come across a couple of things where people are complaining about something, right? Or they're putting some kind of grievance out there. Finding a way to tie that in to what you're doing is going to be key. That's content creation. Number 2, comments. Comments, okay? Now, in the first point, I talked about consumers, which refers to social media and seeing what people are putting out there. Now, we're also staying on social media, but we're taking a little bit of a veer off of this because we're talking about comments. So not necessarily am I talking about what your people are putting out there on their Facebook posts. I'm talking about what is the engagement of these posts and or posts that you've put out there. Hopefully, you have activity that you can look at to draw upon this information, whether it's posts that you make and you're seeing people comment on it, or maybe even community that you might be a part of and or run, like Facebook groups and other things like that, where people are free to post exactly what is on their mind, whether it's good, bad, or different. Taking the comments and taking special attention to seeing what people will put in the comments is absolutely invaluable in terms of coming up with fresh content. I do this regularly. Sometimes I'll have a comment that is put out there on my Instagram or what have you, and it could be even something that is way off base. For instance, I've actually put out content before that's around this where it's like, okay, some people are going about content creation the wrong way or going out prospecting the wrong way because they're putting scammy and spammy sentences on my comment feed, right? Things like that, even if it's just completely something off base, the key is, just like I mentioned before, can you twist it into a way that shows content? Can you go ahead and direct it in a certain way that provides content and allows for a vehicle to show that content? That's what you got to get good at, right? And if you can do that, then you can create content all day, every day. But check out the comments. You'll be surprised and amazed to see what type of valuable information is there available to you if you just look at what people are commenting on. And it's very interesting. A lot of people use comments as a way to either affirm what they see in the post and what they like, or we live in a very contentious time as well, where a lot of people will use the time to write a comment just to go out of their way to disagree with someone or to complain about something. In any case, you'll find material to create content. Number 3, and finally, competitors. Competitors, right? So the first one was consumers, next one was comments, and now I'm talking about competitors. Go ahead and look at what your competition is doing. There is no shame in that. A lot of the times we try to stay away from what our competitors are doing simply because we don't want to identify ourselves with them in any particular light. We certainly don't want to make it look like we're plagiarizing, but the reality is you should be talking about what your competitors are talking about, right? It just makes sense. If they're onto something, you should be too. And this is one of those things where when current events happen, if you look at it, all the people, all the influencers are all talking about something, right? Just consider that. I mean, go ahead and look on your own personal feed. No matter what side of the fence you're on, you better believe that every influencer out there, all the authorities, everyone that you like to look at, everyone was talking about certain current events, whether it was, President Trump being, shot in the ear with the assassination attempt, or perhaps, many years ago in the 80s when you think about how the space shuttle exploded, right? All news channel outlets were talking about it, right? Even those who are competitors, it doesn't matter. If something is worthwhile to talk about, then it should be worthwhile to talk about, and that is across the board. So take a look and see what other people are doing. See what your competitors are putting out there. At the very least, you have an idea of what is relevant. And so while you're not going to copy what they're talking about per se, if they are talking about something that you can talk about too, that is neutral, that is fair game, that is, it is absolutely, free and open domain, then why not go ahead and make it for yourself? Why not go ahead and seize that as an opportunity to create content that funnels people back to you? I see no shame or any problem with this, and I'll be honest with you, your competitors have no problem with this either. So look to see what they're doing. Get some inspiration from them, right? They got to be good for something. Might as well be this. There you have it, my friends. Listen, I trust this was helpful to you. Quick and dirty as per usual. Let me know in the comments below, which of these have you been taking for granted, right? Which of these have you been taking for granted when it comes to creating content? Hopefully one of these sticks out to you, and I trust that you'll be able to use these 3 things to help you create content steadfastly and consistently in the days ahead. Now you know what to do. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming out just for you. This is Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.